One of the most fascinating elements of the Burning Crusade is just how many bind on equip items there are. From crafting gear to world drops to epic items only found in raids, so much of WoW revolved around trading in a player-driven economy. You know, like an MMO. Hello and welcome. I am Zerbraxi. The last video I made on TBC BOEs got a pretty good response, so it seemed like there was a lot more that you wanted me to talk about. As many of you in the comments let me know, there were a lot of BOE items I left out, and you're very much right. A side note, I do just want to say thank you, by the way, for all the discussion that everyone gives and puts into these videos and responds in the comments below. It's easily my favorite part, and y'all are great, and I appreciate it and thank you for that. So here we go again, 10-ish more BOE items that you're going to want to keep an eye out for come Classic TBC. Let's go! Let's get one of the legends out of the way. A caster weapon that needs no introduction, but here I am giving it one. It's the Blade of Wizardry. So many of you expected this on the last list, and I grossly underestimated just how beloved it was. This baby is so good that it's better than any heroic dungeon drop, and it's only just barely beaten out by the Eternium Runed Blade from Blacksmithing. I mean, your best dungeon drops for caster DPS weapons would be the Starlight's Dagger from Heroic Slave Pens and the Great Sword of Horrid Dreams from Murmur. These two weapons are incredibly strong and also look super cool, but just a quick glance shows how powerful the Blade of Wizardry is by comparison. However, there's another caster BOE that just doesn't seem to get the same limelight. World bosses are incredibly contested, as we saw in Classic WoW, and TBC will almost certainly be the same. One of the world bosses, Doomwalker, drops the Talon of the Tempest. Yes, you're looking at those stats right. This insane dagger with those attributes is a BOE item. Let's compare this dagger to the Nathrezim Mindblade from Karazhan and the Bloodmaw Magus Blade from Gruul. These two items look superior at first glance, until you remember that Talon also comes with 2 yellow sockets, which can be used to far exceed the power of any tier 4 weapon. This dagger is going to be insanely valuable, and the fact that it's BOE will ensure that it has value across the entirety of TBC. Continuing with daggers, let's take a look at Dirge. Wait, hold on. What are you even doing here, Dirge? Seriously, no one likes you. You're just a meme. Anyway, next up, we have the Nightblade. This stacking armor penetration effect is the best pre-raid PvE dagger for any dagger-based rogue out there. It's a simple weapon with a simple yet powerful effect. Unfortunately, this item will lose value compared to Kara daggers like Malkazine and the Emerald Ripper, but the Nightblade will always stand by you if some Dirge penetration is your game. Dagger rogues aren't really all the craze though in TBC, despite how much fun the Mutilate spec can be. Instead, swords are, once again, the name of the game. The Vindicator's brand from the Aldor Exalted rep is usually represented as the pre-raid best-in-slot sword. However, there exists a BOE that's slightly better. Introducing Blink Strike, which is quite possibly contending the Nightblade for the most straightforward stats on this list. If you've played Classic, then you know just how powerful the Hand of Justice effect was, and that proc effect once again applies to this item. This extra attack is insanely powerful, and keeps Blink Strike best in slot until you can finally procure the Spite Blade from Netherspite. Again, a very simple weapon with simple power. I mentioned in my last video that the Crystal Pulse Shield was arguably the whole reason I made that original video, and yet stupid me forgot to point out any good BOE weapons to go along with it. Idiot! For many healers, the best main hand healing item you'll be able to find from dungeons at launch will be the Shockwave Truncheon. It's a pretty good mace for Murmur, but if you'd like a competitive, cheap, and very common BOE to get right into Karazhan, then might I introduce to you the Essence Focuser. For such a common item, this baby comes with a surprising amount of healing done, and 12 MP5. That is not anything to cough at. In fact, this 12 mana per 5 seconds is the highest MP5 of any pre-raid healing main hand. If you're a paladin or shaman that specifically benefit from MP5 greatly, then the combination of the Essence Focuser and the Crystal Pulse Shield can get you Kara ready for very little gold. We're not done yet though, as we also have the Essence Focuser's big brother, the Ancient Scepter of Su Min. This baby is cranking some insane plus healing, but it can also be a bit of a trap. It seems like we're going to be getting the post-buff Karazhan items, so main hands like Shard of the Virtuous and Light's Justice far outclass Su Min. In their original state, Su Min was competitive into tier 5, but in Burning Crusade Classic, the Ancient Scepter of Su Min might just end up being a trap to lure rich fools into. Don't be that fool unless it's my item you're buying. Hunters get to have a lot of fun in TBC, and some of that fun is just the sheer amount of options that you have access to. For example, want to get into heroic dungeons immediately and for almost no gold? Well, you have a sick BOE bow you can grab, as well as the crystal forged war axe. There's not too much to say about this item. It's nothing all that special, and it should be replaced going into Karazhan. But to start and to get you through heroics, it's a very cheap and very common item that will be on the auction house everywhere. If you happen to be a warrior though and you're looking for an axe, definitely don't go for the Crystal Forged War Axe. Well, you have three main options. First is Hellscream's Will, from being exalted with the Maghar Orcs. Your second option is a very strong pre-raid choice as Fellsteel Reaper, but that baby is kind of expensive to make. If you'd like something that you will probably have a bit cheaper and is within a handful of DPS to Fellsteel, then consider hitting up your auction house for the Singing Crystal Axe. The only things that this item really has going for it are that nice slow weapon speed, the just high raw weapon damage, but that 25%-ish haste proc effect. Yeah, 25%. This baby is surprisingly good for an axe, and since most warriors are going to want to forego axe specialization with blacksmithing in order to pick up hammer spec for Storm Herald, the Lunar Crescent line of axes is usually out of the question. So, here you go instead. A BOE axe that you can sing praises about. Are you a caster DPS and have absolutely horrible luck trying to get any staff from Heroic Tether Calls, Heroic Manitombs, or Botanica? Then dang, bro, your luck actually blows. Honestly, sorry about that. Oh well, time to blow some gold on the Bringer of Death. This item is pretty iconic because it kind of fits into the same category as some items I've mentioned already, and probably the name. This is by no means a spectacular weapon, but it's just such a common BOE drop and can very easily get you stepping into Karazhan in order to grab some more powerful items, like the Staff of Infinite Mysteries. Sometimes with these BOE items, it's not about long-term investment, but a quick buck to get you to that threshold to get you invited into pugs, or even into that raiding guild. The Bringer of Death will do just that. We've done plenty of caster DPS items, so let's go into agility DPS. First off, you have an awesome option for a blue back piece known as the Cloak of the Craft. Outside having one of the worst item names in the Burning Crusade, this is relatively a common BOE, and it's almost equivalent DPS to the heroic dungeon drops. In fact, the only reliable pre-raid item that surpasses Cloak of the Craft by more than a handful of DPS is Vengeance Wrap made by tailors. However, Vengeance Wrap's 10 Shadow Cloth and 14 Primal Air and a Primal Nether crafting cost is definitely not going to be available very early on, since Shadow Cloth is going to be hogged by every Warlock, Shadow Priest, and Frost Mage alive. Also, if you're a hunter specifically, you can keep an eye out for the True Strike Ring while you're at it. I wasn't kidding that hunters have a lot of options. It's kind of not fair. This epic BOE ring provides you a mean 21 agility, 41 attack power, and 8 MP5, which you're gonna love in TBC. The True Strike Ring is actually so good that it's arguably best in slot until tier 5 and competes with items such as Garona's Signet Ring from Curator and the Ring of 1,000 Marks from Prince Malchezaar. We have 2 items left, and I've saved these for last because, much like Blizzard in Vanilla WoW, I forgot about Druids in my last video, I'm gonna be honest. However, come the Burning Crusade, Druids climb the ranks as arguably the most improved class in the game, and the might of Feral specifically really starts to show its potential. Whether you're cat or bear, the pre-raid best in slot weapon option would probably be Earth Warden from the Cenarian Expedition. However, there exists the Staff of Natural Fury as a backup, and arguably incredibly powerful backup given the mana cost reduction for shapeshifting. Specifically in the realm of PvP, where power shifting becomes a necessity, this mana upkeep could be invaluable. It's these odd effects like this that make items in early WoW far greater than the sum of their parts. The final item we're talking about today will be incredibly powerful if the Orgrimmar dailies are available as launch. If you'd like to know how to unlock this area and the daily hub, then you can always check out my video in the little ticky thing above, so yeah, go ahead and click that. By grinding mobs in the Blaze Edge Plateau, doing the Chartools Transporter event, or the Bashir Landing Raid, you can attempt to find a depleted badge. By then infusing 50 Apexis shards and the depleted badge, you can receive the Badge of Tenacity. By being insanely lucky enough to find this item, or by having a ludicrous amount of gold needed to purchase this BOE for yourself, you have access to the best bear trinket, arguably, until Sunwell. Many claim that the Badge of Tenacity is actually untouched until patch 2.4, where I've seen many claim it's even as best in slot throughout the entirety of the Burning Crusade. Why? Well, the 308 armor on this trinket actually comes out to about 1700 armor if you account for Dire Bear form, which is almost the same amount of armor as the Onslaught chest guard, the tier 6 warrior chest piece. On top of that, the agility use effect equates out to an additional 300 armor, 6% crit, and over 10% dodge. All these things combined make the Badge of Tenacity one of the most reliable, powerful, but insanely pricey BOE items in all of the Burning Crusade. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. If you think that somehow I've still forgotten a BOE item that's epic and great that you think I should talk about between both of these videos, then please let me know in the comments down below which ones I've missed out. I don't know how many more that I can think of that are good, so maybe if they're like crafting BOEs, I could make a part 3 on specifically crafting items. That could be interesting. Let me know if you want to see more of that. Also, if you do want to see more of anything that I make, please hit that like and subscribe button, and feel free to stick around and check out what's coming out on this channel. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitch and Twitter, as you can watch me live stream and doing some classic TBC preparation, and where I talk a lot about classic TBC and video games in general. I like all things gaming. So with that, that's it. That's all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!